Hello everybody, welcome to Homo Sapiens. Homo Sapiens on foot is what this is. Where is the camera? There you are. We're on a nice big walk. I'd love to finish that sentence by saying it's a beautiful day, but it's actually a little grey. Anyone who is on video, I'm showing you the sky at Homo Sapiens Pod on YouTube. I'm a little bit out of breath as well, blimey, I've only been walking 2 seconds. How is everybody doing? All's well over here. I am just settling in for autumn. If you are in a city, it's harder to see, but if you're out in the sticks like me, and just being neighbourly. Car coming towards me. Oh, videoing yourself while doing it. It's a bit like having a rear view mirror. I can see the trees. I'm going to show you. Sorry to the audio people, little dull. Look at these colourful trees over here. It kind of lifts your soul, doesn't it? Might have to order a pumpkin spice latte. Not that I've ever had one. What else have I been doing? I've been up in town. My friend Graham Black, who is an artist, had a private view, they call it, where you invite people in to look at your artwork. And I invited some people to come, co-hosts and things, to come and celebrate as a sort of Homo Sapiens launch party. So we did that. I put the pictures on socials. Really lovely event. And actually the most fun thing is seeing co-hosts who haven't met before getting on and talking together. Relationship, my favourite relationship so far is Dr. James Green with the vet. People driving past. Tree surgeons they were. Is Dr. James Green with the vet and Charlie Craggs. Because James is very sort of, he's a vet, you know, he's soothing, he's straight-laced. Charlie is a sort of cheeky rebel, but they both have mischief in their heart. That's what I love about them. So they've come together and it's a little friendship starting up, which is really nice. And that's been fun. I'm just going to show you the view of where I'm walking into now. Look at this. Look at that. Sheep, all the audio only people. Sheep all down a hillside and all the different colours of autumn. Orange trees, red trees. I'm standing next to some berries. Whoop, it's very cool. Thank you. Lots of you shared the Danny St. James episode talking about trans healthcare. I love Danny, so thank you for doing that. And lots of you have been writing in as well. So let's dive into the inbox. Let's have a look. So Theo has been in touch. Hello, Theo. Thank you. Long-time listener, first-time caller. Hello, Chris. Long-time listener, first-time caller. Queer friendships. Talking about queer friendships because that was the Tom Allen episode. Queer friendships have been an essential and life-saving for me. For context, I'm a non-binary trans man. My first queer friend happened around age 9. I met my friend Kay at a birthday sleepover where she and I both had to watch the latest Star Trek Deep Space Nine. I mean, pretty straight. Although loads of queer themes in Star Trek and stuff. If you listen to the creator of Star Trek, that was, I remember that he had this quote which was like, if you want to talk about racism, you have to set it on a spaceship. So he actually kind of used sci-fi to discuss big themes. But anyway, I'm going to read on, Theo. This is Theo who's written in. Kay is Arrow Ace, and it took us both a long time, we're now in our 40s, to understand how she fit in the queer umbrella. We were casual friends and through high school, but then randomly ended up at the same college and became much closer friends there. People often mistook us for a lesbian couple then, pre-transition for me. Just going to go through a gate. Flash forward, we're still friends but live about 3 hours away from each other. However, starting in 2020 and along with other queer friends, we streamed Star Trek for a weekly online party because we're still nerds after all those decades. I see. Sorry, Theo, you were saying you like it. Today, the vast majority of my friends are queer. One thing I've noticed in your conversations about queer friendships is the focus of sexual attraction. I get it, I'm bi, so potentially you can find anyone attractive. While important, I challenge people to find members of the LGBTQ plus rainbow who aren't in your potential dating demographic. It's so important not to stay siloed with our rights being relentlessly under attack and to build understanding around different people's needs. Thanks, says Thea. Yes, it's so true, isn't it? And it's actually kind of what I'm very guilty of that, like talking about my gay male friends and do we find each other attractive and stuff. And it's almost like I fall into the trap of that listener who wrote in last week who said it's almost like writers who write Hollywood shows they always make people romantically involved because there's more kind of conflict in it and more drama, I suppose. So thank you for pointing that out because I hadn't thought about that at all. And actually, my queer female friends have been really important. And, so when I went to uni, I think I lived in a house where allegedly no one was gay at the beginning. And then I think half of us were by the end. And, one of the first people I met was Amy. She was out already, and so she was so confident. I was so kind of respectful of her. She'd known who she was for a long time, and I was still trying to work it out. Still am, to be fair. And yeah, she would advise me so much on how to be gay, I suppose. And there was obviously no romantic attraction, despite her being, drop dead gorgeous naturally. But we never had that. And that friendship really meant a lot to me. So thank you for pointing that out. And people write in, please, hello@homosapienspodcast.com, at homosapiens, do it on DMs on Instagram if you want. You tell me about your queer friendships with people who, aren't from your same demographic that you would be attracted to. That would be a really nice thing to hear more about. Then Phil's been in touch. Hi, Chris. Love the podcast, he said, actually. Don't want to abbreviate for you there, Phil. I enjoyed the recent joint podcast with Tom Allen. When the two of you were discussing umbrella shops in London, I wondered if you were thinking about Swain London. They used to be known as Swain, Adney and Brigg. One of the things they are famous for is the Brigg umbrella made from a solid shaft of solid wood. No double entendres intended. I noted in the podcast this week you referred to the forthcoming Hampstead Ponds poll. Pausing for a second to say, please can everybody vote. Please can everyone go to the link in the bio of that episode and just sign the petition and donate if you can, back to the email. Just a point of information, there are 3 ponds. One designated as the women's pond, one designated as the men's pond, and a third, the mixed pond. Once again, I really enjoyed the pod and was interested to hear about some of the planned co-hosted podcasts ahead. All the best, Philip. Thank you, Philip. Thanks for that extra information. I could have simply Googled it before. I was so confident that I was right that I didn't Google it. And here we are. Swain, Adney and Brigg. Okay, thank you for that. We are developing a database of glamorous places to buy hats and umbrellas, because that's the people we are, listeners. So I have got also a voice note from Dolly, who voice noted with another suggestion of somewhere. So let's hear that.
Morning. I'm driving to Devon. I'm listening to the podcast, and you're talking about Locks, the Hatters, and the umbrella shop. But something I want to add to your list, if you're in central London, is D.R. Harris, not Dr. Harris, but just D.R. Harris on St James's, is the most beautiful traditional pharmacy. So you can actually go in there and get your prescription pills, but you can also get, badger brushes and anything to shave with, and delicious soaps and colognes and traditional old razors and all these things. But it's all beautifully made up in... Anyway, I'm rambling. Just go in there.
Thank you, Dolly. If anyone owns anything from these stores, these shops, please could you write in hello@homosapienspodcast.com and send us what I want to see top hats, I want to see glamorous umbrellas, I want to see the whole thing. And it's so nice to know that there are these places that still exist that make this kind of very, very magical stuff. Now let's have a look. This is Jamie. Hello, Jamie. Thank you for writing. In the corporate legal world in which I inhabit, things at many junctures have seemed so devoid of queerness. Interesting you say that, Jamie, because what I find quite interesting is in corporate world, so my husband's a lawyer, for example, like they're very straight environments, but they do actually seem to fund queer sort of groups and things, which I think is kind of interesting, because sometimes the most creative places don't seem to. But anyway, shall I carry on with your email? You could probably come onto this in a second. In the corporate legal world, I know you said that, but my breakthrough was, after coming out, developing friendships with other gays at work. This is, looking back, I think we corporate gays start off at a distinct disadvantage if we can't see others like us in the workplace. I paused at style. It saps a little at our confidence and prevents us from being properly ourselves at work, and that's tiring. So while I was well supported outside of work, the breakthrough for me was being friends with other queer people at work. It gave me the courage to eventually lead the LGBTQ+ employees club and hopefully contribute a bit to breaking the cycle for others. Separately and outside work, as one of the subset of Leathermen, Tom of Finland and all that, I really, really value my leathery gay friends. The validation I get from knowing others who share trait is immense. I thought I would never be able to reveal that part of me to anyone, and yet I've been a happy and open gay Leatherman for years now, in no small part to seeing that I am far from alone. So, Jamie, who will you write in and tell us, and people write in? So there was a leather bar in Vauxhall in London, I remember that, but where else are the places? I'd really like to talk about it more. And it's really nice to hear that you have found that community. We need to, going back to Jamie's email, we need to see others like us in every aspect of our lives. And I think that's probably a key theme of our collective ruminations on queer friendship. And then the support, all the other manifestations of queerness that we don't share. Yes, because we know how important that support is. This is it. There's a case of finding yourself with queer people, but then finding people who are like you within that queer community. And then also supporting other people who are in something you're not, or whatever, It's really important. Back to Jamie's email. Lovely podcast, lovely chap. Thanks for really thinking about the themes that you cover. Well, listeners, it's you who are doing the themes, let me tell you. And just opening a gate. I'm loving the themes. Let us know how you're feeling about them. Hello at homosapienspodcast.com. Also, off the back of Jamie's email, have you got a niche where you have found your people, and how has that been for you? So, Jamie's is leather, but there are bazillions of others, all of which escape me in this moment. Part of this conversation can be you helping me understand. Yeah. I mean, when I found my people who loved Mariah Carey as much as I did, changed my life. And we're in the minority, I'm aware. Poor Mariah. She's it's very rare to be a gay man and a fan of Mariah. I joke. But what I will say actually is I've really loved finding other queer parents. So Raven Smith is gonna be co-hosting. He's just had a kid. James Greenwood has had a kid. You all actually wrote in and asked us to talk about queer parenting. And someone wrote in a great thing as well about how to parent a queer child. It was slightly different wording. It'll come to me. Anyway, and I've really enjoyed finding queer parents because I think we do it differently. No version is better, but I think queer parents are very able to bounce between masculine and feminine at the same time. And that just comes quite naturally to us. And we sort of both absorb every role. And I love that. And it's really nice to talk to other parents like that. Whereas when you meet straight parents, they're often quite delineated because that's how it has been for centuries. You know what I mean? And I think that's okay. What I'm trying to say is I don't want to criticize them because people are trying their hardest. But it means just me and talking to the queer parents. It's just lovely, and yeah, so that's really nice. Now, last week's episode was Danny St. James talking about giving up. Actually, Danny has reintroduced alcohol into her life. She did a really cool explainer for us about where we're at with trans healthcare, and also just best how we can help and how we can help people who, despite the bad childcare, despite the bad healthcare situation, what can they do? So there's some resources in the show notes on that episode. Listen to the episode if you are thinking about beginning your transition as well. Lots of really useful stuff and just very beautiful to see how the trans community come together and talk about those things. The other thing to say is, what is the EHR stepping out the way for man in car? Slowing down. Does he want to talk to me? Really slowing down the steering. I suppose I am videoing myself walking down the street. How Gen Z of me. Is the situation is constantly evolving. The EHRC guidance, we'll keep talking to Danny about it and how best to support everyone. I do want to say though, I shared on socials, and I will post it properly as a reel, the Transactual UK, doing great work for helping trans people. They've got a link in their bio. They've got a link which literally writes to your MP for you. You just have to click like 2 times. And it's really, really important that these people, our MPs' inboxes, are filled with what we feel. We are living in a time of political apathy where people don't think that stuff works. And I get it because everyone's pissed off. But let's start there. And we'll just, keep talking about the situation as it evolves. But what's happened is the European, I'm going to get all this wrong, but essentially, the European Court has kind of weighed in on this segregation of trans people from bathrooms and things, and said it's going against their human rights. And so it's not a done deal. And if you can follow the story. If you go on Transactional's Instagram, you can see it. So have a look and actually get the full story rather than your uneducated friend Chris, who is going to get it wrong in this moment. Because I've got this phone I'm videoing myself on. I've got this phone I'm reading your emails on. This isn't connected to the internet, so I can't check my jazz. Whatever the case, what's happening is wrong and we need to get behind it. Now, do you know what I'm going to go and do now? It's cold, it's wet. Well, it's not that wet, it's rainy. I'm going to go and do a PT session now. I'm going to do some exercise. I'm going to jump around my garden. And you never, he says sniffing, you never regret it. It's always something you don't want to do. I actually always feel like I never feel like doing it. But I'll feel great afterwards, I know it. You gotta move your body. So, write in. Really want to know what you thought of Danny St. James' episode as well. hello@homosapienspodcast.com, at Homo Sapiens on Instagram. Tell us about your friendship niches. Write to us if you found your people. Tell us if you own any of the stuff from those incredible shops that we've been talking about. Stay in touch, everybody. Alrighty, sending you lots of love. Bye now.